All right, I'm gonna just start by going over how to access the practice tests. So you go to testnav.com and we're gonna do the ACT. And on the day of the ACT, you guys will access this through the app on your guys' school issued Chromebooks. And right here, we press on test, practice tests, and then I'm gonna be doing the math portion with y'all. I'm gonna do on time, but I would highly recommend maybe doing time so that you guys know where you guys are at. Like, do you need to go faster? Are you good in time? And for the assignment that I have posted on Canvas, go ahead and put your name. So put your first name and your last name. I'm just gonna put my last name. Press start. Notice how in the upper right hand corner, I have my name. I really need that for the very end when I submit the assignment on Canvas, okay? So there's 45 questions on the math section on the ACT. You have 50 minutes, so about a minute and 6 seconds for every single question. Now, some of the questions are going to be a lot easier than others, and some of them might take you more than a minute. But on average, it should be about a minute and 6 seconds, okay? So your goal is to complete all 45 questions before the timer hits 0, okay? I'm doing an on-time one, so you might not see a timer, but it should be on the upper right-hand corner, okay? So press start. Okay, this is the first thing that you see, and as soon as you press start on the timed ACT, it will count down starting with this page, okay? Now, for the juniors, I need you to just read this page right now so that you save yourself like a minute on the ACT. It's gonna be the exact same introductory like paragraph, solve each problem, choose the correct answer and select your answers, etc. Go ahead and read that. It's going to be the same on the actual one, okay? So let's go to the first one. But before we get to the first one, I just want to go over the tools that are available to y'all. So you have the bookmark. Let's say there's a question you're kind of like stuck on 2 answers. You can go ahead and bookmark that. If I press review, notice how it has that blue mark, okay? And then all the questions you have not answered are in orange circles. So go ahead and answer every single question before the timer hits 0, okay? 5 minutes before like the end of the test, you need to answer all the questions. It's better that you put something down rather than not putting anything at all, because there could be a chance you guessed right, okay? So that's just the overview of the bookmark. Right here is my calculator. It uses Desmos. Feel free to also use the TI-84. Now, I have an online TI-84 on me, but you cannot use this online one. You have to have a physical TI-84 CE if you are going to be using it, okay? Now, if you're asking yourself, is this calculator allowed? Usually, if it is a school edition one, that is fine. It's the yellow calculators that you guys use in the classroom, okay? So here's Desmos. I highly recommend just getting used to Desmos. Sometimes it's easier just put into Desmos than doing the math, but it's ultimately up to you to know what to put into Desmos, okay? The last tool I want to go over is this answer eliminator. So let's say I'm looking at the answers and I definitely know that 54 is not an answer. I can use that to just cross it out so I don't accidentally, mark that as answer, okay? So those are the tools, and then again, please make sure in the upper right hand corner your name is there so that when you take a screenshot of your results for the Canvas assignments, I know who it's for, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and do question number 1, okay? So Cameron took 4 tests and his scores were 100, 60, 80, and 30. Cameron took another test and scored X. We don't know what X is. That's what we're trying to find. The mean score of the 5 tests he took is 72. What is the value of X? All right, so you could go ahead and do the math on your piece of paper that is available to you all during the day of the test. But honestly, this right here, doing it by hand, is so much longer. The ACT is time. So let's just do the easy way, okay? The easy way is putting in the calculator, All right. So on the calculator, go ahead and inputs mean, because that is what we're looking for. And then we're going to put into parentheses the numbers they gave us. So 100, and then comma, 60, comma, 80, comma, and 30. And then we don't know what x is, but fortunately for you guys, the answers are right there. It's A, B, C, or D. Okay, so I can go ahead and put 54. That's not right. It's not 64.8. So I'm going to go ahead and use the answer eliminator. How about 67.5? Could that be? Nope. It would average out to 67.5, so that's not it. 68.4. Nope. 90. All right, 72. This is what we're looking for. We want a mean score of 72 among the 5 tests, so the answer is D, 90, okay? See how much easier than faster that is. Of course, I am trying to explain to you guys how to use the calculator and how to approach problems. So I did take over a minute, but for you guys should take about a minute each question, okay? All right, next one. In the Venn diagram below, circle SCP represents farms raising sheep, cows, and pigs respectively. How many of the 47 represented in the diagram do not raise cows? Okay, do not raise cows would be at S, so S and P, okay? Now, all we have to do is basically exclude C. We don't want this, okay? So there's 47 in total, okay? And right now, we have 13, 1, 4, and 10 for C. So let's see, 13. And this is where use a calculator, okay? Like I'm trying to do mental math, but especially in a high stress environment, I might do it wrong. So just put it in the calculator, get used to putting it in really fast. So 28, and so I would do, just press the X to quickly delete everything. 47 minus 28 is, I believe I got 19, so the answer is 19. Notice I didn't really use the answer eliminator. I just wanted to get to the answer. So it's up to you to use the tools, but yeah, the answer is 19 for that last one. Next one. Number 3. Marco designs a spinner wheel that has 4 sections, red, blue, green, and yellow. He wants the spinner to have 25% chance of each section. He spins the wheel 500 times. The results of the spins are shown in this table. So while you guys are reading a question, go ahead and like write down the really important information on your piece of paper. It will help you out, especially when organizing like what do I do, okay? So just looking at the red and blue, notice how the red is 80 and the blue is 165, while the green and yellow are about the same at 130 and 125. Okay, so we're not really interested in those, just because if I did take 25% of 500, so that would be 0.25 x 500, multiply that by 0.25, 5 is about 125, which is what green and yellow are about roughly. The issue is red and blue, okay? So let's look at our options. He should decrease the area of red by increasing the area of blue. Well, that wouldn't make any sense because I already have a low turnout for red, so that cannot be my answer. Just cross it out. You should increase the area of the red by decreasing the area of the blue. That makes sense, but let's just quickly go over C and D. He should increase the area of the red section by decreasing the area of any other. No, if I did decrease the green or the yellow, then I have an issue. And the blue is really over-representative of the whole spinner, so I really want to get rid of that. He should decrease the area of the blue. Then it does not matter which section is decreased. Well, it does because the red is the least representative at 80, and I should probably get 125. So by process of elimination, my answer is B. Okay. All right. Next one, question number 4. In triangle ABC, angle A, so ABC, A, B, and C. Angle A and C are congruent, so A and C are the same, and the measure of B is, so angle B is 143.6. What is the measure of angle A? Well, I don't know what angle A is, but it is the same as angle C, so let's just put X because it's unknown, okay? I do know that a triangle is 180 degrees in total for those three sides, so 180 is equal to 143.6 plus the two angles. I have no idea, okay? So it's just a basic find X problem. And I'm going to go ahead and use the calculator so I know what I'm putting in is correct. So 143.6 is 36.4. I want to 36.4 divided by 2 because I have two x's. So x equals 18.2, and that should be 8. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. All right, question number 5. Which of the following expression is equivalent to x squared minus x minus 30? Okay, now there are multiple ways to get to this answer. Here is the algebra way. So you got, notice how here my a value is 1, so I can immediately go to factoring. Okay, so go ahead and list out factors of 30. So 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, I think 5 times 6. Yes, 5 times 6. Okay, so notice how here I have a negative. That means that one of these columns of numbers have to be a negative, the other one has to be positive. To find out which one it is, look at your b value. That tells us what the bigger number is going to be, so it's negative for the bigger numbers. And which two numbers add up to -1? Well, it'd be 5 and -6. So we have x plus 5 and x minus 6. Okay, so the answer, I believe, would be, let's see, I think it should be C. Okay, so notice how this one is a little bit tricky. Question 5, B and C are very similar to each other. The most important part here is we got a plus 5 and a minus 6, okay? So there are some types of questions that the two answers are very close. You just need to make sure you select the right one, okay? Now, here is another way you could do this. You don't need to necessarily know how to factor. You just need to put it into the calculator, and it's ultimately up to you to decide which one are you more comfortable with. Okay, so I put in the polynomial or the quadratic here. Notice how it immediately gave me a graph. Okay, in this graph, I have a parabola, which is expected. It's the highest power here is 2 for x squared. So here I have -5 and 0, okay? So if I were to continue solving this, I get x equals -5 and x equals 6, okay? If I got this, right, from the Desmos calculator, I can easily revert that to the factor forms by just putting it in a room with your x. And there's this saying that I like to say, when you are in a room with your x, you do the opposite. So if you got a -5 for your x-intercept, the factor form is x plus 5. If you got a 6, well, you put it in a room with your x and you do the opposite. So instead of x plus 6, it's x minus 6, because you're in a room with your x and your x tells lies, okay? All right, let's move on to the next one, question number 6. All right, so this one is matrix algebra. So which of the following matrix is equal to 5? And then we have a matrix -4, 2, 0, and -5. Matrix algebra is really, really easy. What you need to do for this one is essentially distribute, okay? So this 5 is going to apply to all of these 4 numbers. So the answer here would be, well, what's 5 times -4? -20. What's 5 times 10? 5 times 2 is equal to 10. 5 times 0 is 0. And 5 times -5 is -25. Okay, so my answer is D. Now, if you had the physical TI-84, there is a matrix function on that calculator. Okay, so seconds matrix, and here is where you can go ahead and like edit your matrix. This is going to be a 2 by 2, so I can go ahead and put in that -4, 2, 0, and 5 real quick. So get out and then put in that 5, and you're gonna multiply. So 5 times seconds matrix, and then I'm gonna bring forward matrix A that I just input, and here's the answer. This is exactly what I just did. Okay, this is what calculators as well as computers use to multiply, divide, add, and subtract. Okay, so answer is D. Okay, next one. So we got some tickets and snack vouchers for an upcoming event and gave them to the members of her work group. Each member of her work group received the same number of tickets and the same number of snack vouchers. The total number of tickets she gave to her group was 30. Okay, I'm just gonna write 30 somewhere. The total number of snack vouchers were 75. Okay. Which of the following could be the number of members in her work group? All right, so this one, there's a lot of reading happening, right? So basically, you need to understand, you're trying to find the greatest common factor, okay? I could do it by hand, but you guys have access to Desmos. So on Desmos, the greatest common factor is a function. So there's a bunch of different functions you should be aware of. Just note that right here, there's calculus functions. There are no calculus on the ACT, so don't even have to worry about these 6, okay? But we're trying to find GCD, and this is why it's important to like familiarize yourself with the Desmos calculator, because I don't want y'all on the day of the test being like, where the heck is this? Like, if you should know where it is. Okay, well, I don't know where it is, but I could easily also just put GCD, and the calculator should know what to put. Okay, so GCD, and then I had the numbers 30 and 75, so I'm gonna input 30, comma 75, and it gave me 15, so the answer is 15. Okay, so let's move on. Next one. Initial speed in miles per hour of a certain car that skids to a stop can be estimated by multiplying the length of the skid in feet by 35, then taking the square root of the product. According to this method, what is the estimated initial speed in miles per hour of the car when it makes 108 foot skid? So let's see. So sometimes you have to like read something again. Let's see, 100. The initial speed per hour of a certain car that skids to a stop can be estimated by multiplying the length of the skid. Okay, so we had 108 times 35, then taking the square root of the product. So the product is just a fancy word of, hey, what'd you get after multiplying these two numbers? So taking the square root of that this question is all about, can you simplify a radical? So I'm gonna do 108 times 35 real quick. So I get the square root of 3780. Okay, so on the calculator, okay, you could go ahead and put in the square root symbol and then 3780. Notice how I got 61.48. Now, I could go ahead and do the factor tree to find like what this simplifies to, but I do not have time on the ACT to do that. okay? So my advice to you guys is you guys have 4 answers. Go ahead and plug into the calculator and see which one matches, okay? So I'm looking for 61.48. So square root of 143, that is not what I'm looking for. Moving on, 7 square root 105, still not that 61. 6 square root 105, is this the same? Yep, it is the same. So the answer is C. Okay, so biggest takeaway from this one is if you don't understand a question, reread it, okay? And then maybe if you are confused, put it in the calculator to make sure, like, hey, do these match? Like, I save myself a lot of time by just putting it in the calculator. Okay. I'm gonna break this practice test into sections of like 9 questions each. So this is gonna be the last one for this video. So we have 6y equals 5x minus 1. We're asked what the heck is x. All right, so for this one, my advice is you just gotta like isolate x by itself. So add 1 to both sides, so we have 6y plus 1. I want to divide both sides by 5, and my x value is 6y plus 1 over 5. So I believe that is, it's not C, it's D. Just be careful. It was a plus 1, okay, because I wanted to get rid of this minus 1 on the right side, so I add 1 to both sides, okay. All right, so that's the end of the first video.